She has a plan, a secret mission filled by gratitude and affection. She chooses her mother's favorite breakfast. Delight Foods, House Sakoko, a harmonious blend of flavors crafted with care and devotion. The taste of tradition and comfort. In that moment, their connection deepens, a bond strengthened by a shared experience. Delight Foods, House Sakoko, a delicious breakfast made with care and love in just 2 minutes.
Delight Cocoa. Delight Cocoa, the authentic, original taste of African porridge. Available in all African and Caribbean shops. Delight Cocoa.
Funding wallets on TapTapSend. Step 1. Click on Create Ghana Cedi Wallets below when you open the app. Step 2. Enter amount of your choice in Ghana Cedis. Step 3. Click on the Confirm and Fund wallet below to confirm. Step 4. Your wallet has been successfully funded. Step 5. Enter amount of your choice in Ghana Cedis. Step 6. Select or add new recipient. Step 7. Choose wallet as payment method. Step 8. Click on the Pay with Wallet below to confirm. Step 9. Your transaction is successful.
In Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job, then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
Guys, Friday. It's Friday. Thank God it's Friday. You are welcome live on SVTV International, SVTV Africa on our Facebook page, and we are streaming live on SVTV International on our YouTube page. My name is DJ Nyame. Welcome on board. You know, every Fridays I host Lawyer Wisdom Akao from Wise Man Solicitors. He's based in UK. So let me just go straight to lawyer. And today, the topic we are going to treat today is very important. So make sure you share the live section with your friends and drop your questions. And when the time is up, I'll put it on the screen so the lawyer will answer them. So share the live section if you are watching us live on Facebook, SVTV Africa, YouTube, SVTV International, and also SVTV Africa page. Make sure you share the live section. My name is DJ Nyam. Let me go straight to Lawyer Wisdom Akao. Lawyer,
DJ,
welcome on board. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's another Friday.
Charlie, how is everything in the UK?
Well, just the grace and mercy is not easy, but it's possible.
Lawyer couldn't make it last week because you have to say it. Oh, sad news, condolences to Lawyer Wisdom Akao's family. Lawyer has lost her sister. So he told me about it, and I was like, wow, sad one. But lawyer, accept my condolence from SVTV International, SVTV Africa, and our fans. So we are mourning, but lawyer decided to come today for the love of you guys, so that he will continue his work. But Charlie, sorry for the loss.
Thank you, my brother. I really appreciate your kind wishes, and it means a lot to us. Thank you. It's not easy to lose a sister, a younger sister, of course, but that's it. Just the way it is. Life goes on. So we thank God for everything. Thank you so much, DJ, for being there for us. all the time. So
Okay.
when we come for the funeral, I'll let you know.
Yeah, if any updates, funeral arrangements and all that, let us know.
Yeah,
So the
thank,
SBTV Africa fans and SBTV international fans will support.
thank you.
Lawyer Wisdom Akao. So, lawyer, today what are we looking at?
DJ, thank you. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, all the fans wherever you are listening from, and the time. We don't know the time, so I hope that you everyone is doing well. Today we are looking at 20 years long residence in the UK.
Hmm.
How to get indefinite leave to remain. 20
Wow.
years long residence uh, in the UK, and how to get your indefinite leave to remain. So it is two questions or two statements that I want to bridge. The first one is how to get or how to qualify or how to apply under the 20 years long residence. And when you are 20 years in the UK, would you get your indefinite leave to remain? Or you get something else leading to the indefinite leave to remain? That is
Hmm.
the main topic for today. But before I dive into that, I would like us to look at a few things that are becoming of concern now. First of all, a lot of people have made some applications, and the applications they've made, they expect to have a decision within a certain time. But sometimes the decision does not come as quickly as they expect. Also, because they are not aware of the Home Office decision making times. Now, if you are aware of the decision making times, you will not be anxious. I made an application for somebody about a month ago, and almost every other day or 2, 3 days, they will call me, lawyer, have you not received the decision? And I told them this afternoon that it's supposed to take 3 months. You have only done 1 month. So please relax and wait for the 3 months. If the 3 months is up and we don't have a decision, then we can then follow up. So there are different times for different applications. And of course, there are some occasions where the Home Office will give you 2 weeks, 2 months, 3 weeks, but it can take longer than that. So today, briefly, I want to look at the application or decision making times. And we will all be aware of that before I go on to the main topic for today. The main topic for today. So, firstly, if you make an application, different applications, different decision making times. So, if you make application for a visit visa, it takes 3 weeks. It would take 3 weeks for the decision to be made. If you make an application for a visit visa or a visitor visa, standard visitor's visa, it would take 3 weeks. But if you pay for a quicker decision, then that will take days, not weeks. So if you pay for a quicker decision, that can take a few days and not 3 weeks. That is standard visitors visa. Number two, if you apply to come and get married in the UK, that is marriage visitors visa. Marriage visitors visa, that will take you 3 weeks. 3 weeks. So, assuming you've met a partner, you are in touch with a partner, and everything is okay, there is evidence of a genuine and subsisting relationship, and you want to come and get married in the UK, and you have applied for marriage visitor, you come in as a marriage visitor to come and get married here, in that case, it will take you 3 weeks before the application is decided. 3 weeks. If it would take longer than 3 weeks, the Home Office would inform you that the application would take longer than 3 weeks. Sometimes they will send you an email to say your application is complex and it raises issues that have to be resolved. It doesn't mean anything. It only means that they are not able to make the decision within the 3 weeks. If they use the word complex, complicated, and cannot be decided, it only means they have not or they are not able to decide within 3 weeks. That is why they are using all those English language to say it is complex and complicated. Don't worry, just give them time. If after the 3 weeks they are not able to make the decision, they will let you know if they need any additional information. Another category of visa that can take 3 weeks is the child student. If you are in Ghana, Nigeria, or anywhere in the world, South Africa, Zimbabwe, anywhere, and you apply for a visit visa or a visa for your child to come and study in the UK. If you apply for a visa for your child to come and study in the UK, that child is coming as a child student. Child student. That application will also take 3 weeks to be decided. There are other categories of applications, a partner or spouse. If you make an application as a partner or a spouse from Ghana or from anywhere in the world, it can take up to 3 months. 3 months. There are some occasions where it takes 24 weeks. 24 weeks to be decided. That is, it can take up to 24 weeks to be decided. So you have applied as a partner to come to the UK to join your partner here. It can take up to 24 weeks. So don't be anxious. Don't worry by because the decision hasn't come in 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Don't stress yourself. It can take up to 24 weeks for the decision to be made. Another category is parents. Now, if you are in Ghana and you made an application to possibly come and join your child who is a British citizen in the UK, that application can also take 24 weeks to be decided. Don't again be anxious, expecting the decision within 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then you are all hyper and you are not at rest. Relax. It can take up to 24 weeks if you are applying as a parent to come and join a child in the UK. On the other hand, if you have applied for your child to come and join you here in the UK, that can also take 24 weeks. So the parent's application can take 24 weeks. The child's application can also take 24 weeks for the applications to be processed for the child or the parent to come to the UK. So that is also another category of visas that can take up to 24 weeks. There are other categories that take 3 weeks as well. We have government authorized exchange, charity worker visa, you have international agreement visas, seasonal workers visa, religious workers visa. All these ones take 3 weeks to be decided. It takes 3 weeks to be decided. So again, if you apply to come as a charity worker, if you apply to come as a seasonal worker, it is expected that it will take up to 3 weeks for the decision to be made. So that is for your information. There are some other categories of applications that are made within the UK. Applications made within the UK, some of them have different timelines. Some have different timelines. Let me quickly go through one or two that have different timelines. So if you make an application as a parent in the UK and you don't have to meet the uh, financial requirements or the English language requirement, that the Home Office says it can take up to 9 to 12 months, from 9 to 12 months. It can take up to 1 year for the decision, the application to be decided. 9 to 12 months for the application to be decided. So if you have put in an application as a parent of a child in the UK, the Home Office says it can take up to 12 months for that application to be decided. Up to 12 months for it to be decided. Again, don't be anxious, don't worry, take it easy, just wait for the decision to come. So, parent or partner applications, that you don't have to meet the financial requirement or the English language requirement, that can take up to 12 months. But if you have to meet the financial requirements and the English language requirement, which means you are on the 5-year route, that can take up to 8 weeks. If you are on the 5-year route, it can take up to 8 weeks. But if you're on the 10-year route, it can take between 9 months to 12 months for the application to be decided. Again, if you have applied as a parent based on your child in the UK and it is your first application, you must be ready to wait for up to 12 months for the application to be decided. Please take it easy, relax, don't get anxious, don't get hyper, just keep waiting until the decision comes. 12 months. This is for people who have made first time applications or subsequent renewals. Now, if you've made an application to renew your leave, it can take up to that period of time. However, if you already have 2.5 years limited leave to remain, and you want to apply for extension and you want a quicker decision, you can go for the super priority. If you go for the super priority, you can go for 1 day, 24-hour decision, but you have to pay the Home Office £1,000 on top of the Home Office and then the IHS fee. Then you can get your decision within 1 day. Within 24 hours, you get your decision. So if you don't want to wait for 1 year for a decision, and particularly if you are extending or you are renewing, then you must as well go for the 24-hour decision, and it will be made within 7 to 10 days. You get your card. If you want to travel, you can travel, etc., etc., etc. So those are some of the processing times. We have other skilled worker routes which can take up to 3 months. We have, if you want to go for the global talent, you want to go for UK ancestry, innovator visa, all these ones can take up to 3 weeks to be decided, and you can then come to the UK to join your sponsor in the UK. Secondment worker is 3 weeks. Representatives of overseas business is 3 weeks. UK expansion visa is 3 weeks. British nationality application overseas is 12 weeks. International sports and Minister of Religion scale up is all 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. So these are some of the processing times we have to be aware of when we put in our applications to join a partner or to join a child here in the UK. So that is for your information. There is one more thing I want to put out here before we proceed. If you are on a limited leave to remain, you please have to take note of the date your visa expires or your leave expires. You have to set a reminder, because the trend of what we have observed recently is a few people have forgotten the dates their visa would expire. And once you forget, and therefore your visa expires, it puts you in a very difficult situation. You can't work. The employer would ask you to stop work. You will not be protected by Section 3C of the Immigration Rules 1971, the Immigration Act 1971, my apologies. You will not be able to rent a house, or your landlord can question you because your leave has expired and you didn't renew it on time. So that can cause all kinds of problems for you. You cannot apply for the super priority even if you have the money. Because it has expired, you cannot go on the super priority route. You have to go on the standard route, which can take up to 12 months before it is decided. If you let your leave expire and it expires for more than 14 days, you have to start your 10 years again. So the times you have already done, it goes waste. You have to start your 10 years long residence again. So please do not allow your leave to expire. Set a reminder. People say they've forgotten. People say they don't have enough money. There are ways that you can apply to extend it. Even if you don't have money, you can go for a fee waiver or some other routes which can be done so that you don't have to be here as an overstayer. Please take note. Don't let your visa expire. Have a reminder. Set a reminder every week or every other week. It will remind you that your leave is due to expire at a given time so that you can quickly act before it expires. So those are just some of the information I want to put out there, and then I can go on to the main topic for today. DJ, if there is any question, I'll respond to it now. Otherwise, I'll go ahead with the topic for today for just about 20 minutes, and then I can take some questions.
Lawyer, go on.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right. So the topic today is 20 years long residence in the UK. Can I get indefinite leave to remain? 20 years long residence in the UK. Can I get indefinite leave to remain? Okay. Now, before the 9th of July 2012, before the 9th of July 2012, if a person has lived in the UK, either both lawfully and unlawfully for a period of 14 years, 14 years, that is before the 9th of July 2012. If you lived in the UK for 14 years, you were eligible to apply for indefinite leave to remain straight away. Indefinite leave to remain. If you lived in the UK for 14 years before 2012, 9th July, you go for your indefinite leave to remain. From the 9th of July 2012, the laws changed. There was a drastic change in the immigration rules, and it changed it from 14 years to 20 years, which means even if you were in the UK at the time of at the point of 9th July 2012 and you hadn't applied and the laws changed, you then had to meet the 20 years long residence requirement before you get your leave to remain. So the laws changed from 14 years long residence to 20 years long residence. 14 to 20. On the 9th of July 2012, that is when the laws changed. That is one change. The second change was that even if you have been in the UK for 20 years, you cannot go for indefinite leave to remain. You would have to go for 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 2.5 years, 4 times before you'll be eligible for your indefinite leave to remain. So it means that even if you've lived in the UK for 20 years, as opposed to the 14 years that you could have gone for your indefinite, the 20 years, yes, you've been here, but you cannot go for indefinite. You would have to go for 12.5 years, 4 times before you can get your indefinite leave to remain. So those were the two major changes when it came to people who have lived in the UK for 20 years or the long residence application. So that is that. So the answer is yes, you've lived in the UK for 20 years. Can I get indefinite leave to remain? No, you can't. You will have to go through the process to get 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 2.5, 4 times before you get your indefinite leave to remain. Before you can get your indefinite leave to remain. So, 14 years before the 9th of July, yes, you get your indefinite. 20 years from the 9th of July 2012, no, you don't get your indefinite. You get 2.5, 2.5, two and a half, two and a half, total of 10 years on top of your 20 years to make it 30 years before you get your indefinite leave to remain in the UK. There are ways that after you've gotten your first 2.5 years, you can switch to certain categories. But I will look at that after I have taken you through the process of the 20 years long residence application. So let me just chip that in. After you've gotten your 2.5 years initial residence after your 20 years in the UK, if you have a child in the UK and your child is a British citizen, you are able to switch to your child's application and you will switch from the 10-year route to the 5-year route. Let me say it again. If you've been here for 20 years and you have your first 2.5 years as a person who has been here for 20 years, and you have a child and your child has been in the UK for some time and the child is a British citizen, you can switch from your 10-year long residence as on the private life to the 5 years as a parent based on your child that is a British citizen. But there are some requirements you have to meet. You have to meet the English language requirement and the maintenance requirement, and another few requirements you have to meet before you can switch to that route. Or after you've obtained your first 2.5 years, if you are in a relationship with somebody who is a British citizen or somebody who has indefinite leave to remain, you are also able to switch from the 10-year route to the partner route based on the fact that your partner is an EU national who has EU settlement scheme, or your partner is a British citizen, or your partner has indefinite leave to remain. You are able to switch from the 10-year route to your partner route, but you need to meet the financial requirement of £29,000, etc., etc. And of course, the English language, tenancy agreement, accommodation, and other requirements have to be satisfied before you can switch from the 10-year to the 5-year route as a partner or as a spouse. So that is after you have obtained your first 2.5 years on the 10-year route. So that is a possibility. You cannot switch by yourself. If you don't have a child or you don't have a partner, you cannot switch by yourself. Mainly based on the fact that you've been 20 years and you want to switch, you can't. You have to switch onto a parent, to a partner, or to a child. And that is when you can cut the 10 years by 2 by doing 5 years, and you can get your indefinite leave to remain. So then, how do you get your first 2.5 years? By living here in the UK for 20 years. Number one, you have to be 20 years. You don't have to do application if you've been here for 19 and a half years. The other day, somebody called me and was querying me why he cannot apply when he's been here for the 19 years. He's only left with 1 month for him to get 20 years. Why can't he apply? And I said to him that 28 days applies to only people who are here legally. If you're in the UK legally or lawfully, you are able to apply to stay based. You can apply 28 days before your visa expires. But if you are here illegally or unlawfully, you have to wait until your time is up. That is, the 20 years has to be 20 years, not 19 and a half years, not 19 and 11 months. It has to be 20 years before you submit your application. So, one, you have to be 20 years. Two, you have to put together all the documents that you can use to prove that you've been here for 20 years. If you cannot prove that you've been here for 20 years, that is a matter that can be dealt with separately in another, program like this. I can look at that. If you cannot prove that you've been here for 20 years, how do you resolve that, or how do you make an application? We'll look at that another time. But today, you have to collate some documents. In other words, you have to put together documents which will show that you've been here for the 20 years. One, if you registered a GP when you came to the UK, please, you can approach your GP for your records. Not just a letter, but you approach the GP for a records. You want all your medical records, and once we get that, we can prove that you've been here every single year through the 20 years. All the appointments you've attended, all of those will show. Somebody asked me the other time, what if I don't want anybody to know my medical problem? Well, we are not interested in the medical problem. We are not interested in what sickness or disease you have. That is not anybody's interest. What we are interested in is the years, the dates to show that you have actually been in the UK. If your medical condition will help your case, then that is where we will shift our attention to that. But apart from that, we are not too much into your medical issues. What we are interested in is the dates you have been in the UK. So if somebody has been in the UK from January 2004, it means that person has already scored 20 years now, and therefore we want to see how that will be done. So we ask for your GP records. When we get the GP records, then we use that to actually determine if you've been here for the 20 years or if there's some gaps. We look at that. Now, number two, apart from the GP records, if you have been working in the UK with your own name or with another name, we need to get those documents as well. So we can apply to the HMRC. The HMRC for your national insurance contribution records. That gives us the complete period over which you have actually been in the UK and worked and contributed. We use that to prove whether you've been in the UK or not. So assuming the GP, there are gaps, we can use the national insurance records to fill in those gaps. So GP is one, national insurance records is another one to prove that you've been in the UK. Another thing we can also get to support your application that you've been in the UK for 20 years is if you have been in education, if you attended any educational institution in the UK, we require that we can write to, or if you can go, we can require that you can go to the school or the institution to ask for your records, or we write to the institution, we write to the school to ask them to give us a breakdown of your, maybe your transcript or over the years, or a letter to confirm that you've actually been in that school for the period that we want to rely on, or for a certain period that you have been in, maybe 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years, whatever course it is you did. If we can get that period to support the fact that yes, you've truly been in the UK. That is so. Another thing we normally would ask for is if you have a bank account, we would normally write to the bank to request for your account details. So we get your bank accounts. We are not interested in how much money is in your account. That's not our interest. Our interest is to see that the account has been active over the years. So all the years that account has been active, we check it. And then, of course, with that, we are able to say, yes, gentleman Andrews has been in the UK for the past 20 years. You can see from the bank transactions that every year money has gone in. So 2004, the account was active, 2005, 2006, 2007, up to today. That is evidence that the account has been active and therefore you've actually been in the UK. We also ask for library cards. If you have, if you register for library when you came and you've been going to borrow books, etc., etc., we can write to the library to give us a record of your how you've actually visited the library, borrowed books and stuff. If that evidence is there, they send it to us. We use that as part of the application for you. We also look at money transfer records. If you have used a company such as TapTap, Western Union, Wave, or other companies that recently started, we can use those money transfer receipts as or evidence as proof that you've actually been in the UK. Because if you were not in the UK, you would not have been able to be sending money out in pounds to somebody else or to anybody else outside the UK. So we ask that you provide us with the money transfer receipts, the old ones, the new ones, so that we can build the timeline for you. So that is also very important. And of course, if you have a telephone, you have a phone line, you have either with Free, with EE, with T-Mobile, with any company, you can also ask for their records, and they will provide the records for you to show that you have actually had that phone with them for the period of time. And on that basis, we can use that also to prove that you've been in the UK for 20 years. So that is also part of the document we would need to show that you've been in the UK for 20 years. So I've just mentioned a few things. I've mentioned the bank statement. I've mentioned, of course, I've mentioned bank statements. I've mentioned medical records. I've mentioned your utility bills. Yes, I'm not mentioning the utility bills. If you have utility bills, gas, water, electricity, TV licenses, and all those things can also be used as evidence to show that you've been in the UK for that period of time. Money transfer, yes. Library cards, HMRC, national insurance contributions, bank statement, telephone provider. If you have worked with any charities, you volunteered at any charities or any shops before, you can get letters from them as well to prove that yes, you've actually been in the UK for that period. Now, if you go to church or you go to the mosque or you go to any prayer center and you are known there, you could also take a letter from them to support your application. You can take a letter from the Church of England if that is where you attend, from the Catholic Church if that is where you attend, from FLCC, from River of Life, from any other church that you attend and you are known there. Prayer Temple International Ministries if that is where you attend, or any church or any religious institution you attend and you are known, and the leader, the priest, the pastor, the imam can give you a letter to confirm that yes, this person has been a member of this organization from that time to this time. We can also use that to support your application. And we can get a letter from any associations. Maybe you are a member of an association that helps to support each other in times of bereavement or anything of the sort. If you're a member and you are of good standing and they can write a letter for you, then of course you can also get a letter from them. Possibly if you're a member of a political party in this country, maybe you are part of one of the Ghanaian political parties or your country's political parties associations in the UK, then you can take a letter from them as well, also to confirm that you are a member or you've been a member of that organization from whatever time up to today. If that will be, then of course you can use that also to provide or to prove that you've been in the UK for the duration that we are relying on. Another very important document we would need is if you are the type of person who donates to charities. Maybe you've set up a direct debit to, let's say, the London Heart Foundation or to Barnardus or to Oxfam or to any of these animal rights organizations in the UK. If you donate to them, you can ask for a letter from them also to support the fact that you have been here in the UK over the years, and that would also go to support your application to a very high extent. Now, after you've collected all these documents, the collation is a very important stage. If you cannot put the documents together, then you don't really have a very strong basis to go on. That is why the collection of the document stage is very important. Very, very important. The collection or the collation of the document is very important. If you do not put the documents together well, you have a problem. Now, after you've gathered all these documents, the next step is to arrange your documents. You don't mix everything up. You don't mix 2020 with 2028, with 2021. You don't mix it with 2008, etc. Please take time, arrange the documents, and arrange it properly and well. If you can, arrange it month by month. So take 2004. 2004, arrange it January, February, March up to December. Put it on the side. Take 2005, January to December. Put it on the side. 2006, January to December on the side, 2007, 2008. You have to arrange it very well. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. And a lot of people can't just wrap their head around it. So they just decide to say, lawyer, this is for you. Handle it everything for me. I'm paying you to do the work for me. And then we take time to spend man hours in arranging these documents to make sure that everything is in the right order. January to December for every year. So it means you are arranging from January to December for 20 years. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. January to December for 20 years. And you arrange everything in order. You don't mix bank statements with pay slips. Don't mix hospital records with bank statements. So hospital records will be together. Bank statements will be together. P60s will be together. Pay slips will be together. And utility bills will be together. TV license together. Water bills together. So even in 1 year, you have to arrange different documents in different orders. So 2004, different documents, medical records, TV licenses, and utility bills separate, bank statements separate, GP letter separate. That's for 2004. Then you come to 2005, you arrange the same order, order by order by order. After you've arranged all this, the next thing is you have to make sure you cover the 20 years. After you cover the 20 years, then you go on to the application stage. You complete the right application form, FLRFP, you select the right category, private line, and then you are able to proceed with the application. They ask you questions, so many questions. When you came to the UK, which airport you came through, date you arrived in the UK, and of course, you have family back home. Why can't you go back home? Do you have a partner in the UK? Are you working in the UK? Who supports you financially? Your accommodation? How much do you pay? If somebody supports you financially, you have to provide their letter, etc., etc., etc. You have children outside, you have to include it if they are still dependent on you. And you have to answer all these questions. Your passport, you have to put the details. If you don't have a passport, it is still possible to apply, but they have some boxes you have to select. After you've done all of that, you completed the form, they ask you, if your application is refused, would your children be affected? You have to give a good reason. If your application is refused, would your partner be affected? If you have no partner, then you don't have to worry about that. If your application is refused, are you able to go back to your country to appeal to come back in? You have to give a reason why you cannot go. If your appeal application is refused, can you give reason why you cannot go back and integrate in your country? You have to give a reason why you can't. So there are different stages and requirements of that applications process. After you've done the application, the next thing is you have to submit and you pay the home office fee, and pay the IHS. The home office fee is £1,048. The IHS is £2,587.50. You have to pay that. After you pay, the total is £3,635.50 for this application. You cannot go for 1 day because it is your first application. It used to be, but they've taken away the 1 day provision. So you can't go for 1 day. You have to wait for 12 months before you get a decision. After you've done that, after you paid, you submit. You pay, you submit. You have to book appointment. You book appointment for your biometrics, where you go and provide your fingerprints, your biometrics, either at Croydon, in Birmingham, in Stratford, in Tottenham, or different places. Welling Garden City, if they have a center, that Milton Keynes, if they have a center, or different places if they have centers, you have to go and submit your biometrics there. You select the one that is closest to where you live and you go there. There are some centers you don't get an early date, but with Croydon, you can get a date today, tomorrow, the day after, and you have to pay £143 for the appointment. If you don't want or you can't pay the appointment fee, then you have to wait for getting to the latter parts of the month. The Home Office is kind enough to give some free appointments that you can pick one of those dates and you can make the application and go and submit your biometrics where there without having to pay any fee for the appointment. So that is that. After you've done that, before you even go to the appointment, you have to scan your documents. You cannot post the documents. You cannot. You cannot post the documents. You have to scan every document. So year by year, scan bank statements, scan GP records, scan GP letters, scan your medical records, scan tenancy agreements, scan utility bills, scan everything in that order. After you finish the scanning, you have to upload the documents. Upload every document year by year by year. Then you have to do your cover letter, draft your cover letter. The cover letter will state that you have been in the UK and you have to use the right law, Appendix PL. It used to be Appendix FM 276 ADE. It used to be 276 ADE. Now Appendix PL. You have to complete Appendix PL, do your cover letter and rely on Appendix PL that you've been in the UK for 20 years. And of course, you again have to set your documents in that cover letter. That is what we do, so that when it goes, it is very easy for the caseworker to make a decision without having to worry themselves too much by going, checking here and there. We put everything in a table for the caseworker and they're able to make a decision. So you book appointment, you attend your appointment, and then you come and wait for 12 months before a decision is made. So that is for the 20 years long residence application. There are some cases you can rely on. The case of Mahmoud, the case of Mahmoud, which says, yes, even if you use somebody else's name, even if you use another person's name, one person, two persons, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people's names to work, and you can prove that you use those documents to work, it's all part of the documents you can use for your application. So let me say that again. If you used another person's name, an alias, to work in the UK, the case of Mahmoud into bracket paras SLTR 1.6 and SLTR 4.2 scope 2020 UKUT 00376 IAC and Bangladesh. That case, UKUT 376 IAC, the case of Mahmoud, the case of ZH Bangladesh. These two cases say that even if you use somebody else's documentations in working and you can prove that you used it, you can still rely on those documents because the deception was to the employer, the deception was not to the Home Office. The deception was to the employer. Using another person's name was to the employer, not to the Home Office. But you can still rely on those documents to show that you have been in the UK for 20 years. So this is what it says. It says in Mahmoud, it says, we observe that the appellant has relied upon documents arising from his employment, such as P60s in long residence and Article 8 private line applications alone, and not, for example, in applications where he was required to establish his earnings. He always confirmed by means of his application that the documents were secured with the adoption of another person's identity. The false representation was to his employers, namely that he was a British citizen called Rizwal Karim, who was born on the born in 1976. Now, what the court is saying is that the representation was to the misrepresentation or the deception was to the employer, not to the Home Office. But of course, you can rely on that. The case of Mahmoud and ZH Bangladesh, you can rely on that to prove that you've been in the UK for 20 years. With that, you can be granted your leave to be in the UK 2.5 years, and then you can switch to 5 years as a partner or 5 years as a parent. DJ, I'll leave it here. I believe some people have some questions. If they have no questions, then that will be. But if there are any questions, I'm more than happy to respond to it. 20 years long residence application is possible. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Buampong. How long does it take to get your decision when you apply for EU settlement scheme? Well, yes, EU 6 months. It's taken longer than we expect. It used to be within weeks or just a couple of months. However, they have no urgency now, so they are taking about 6 months to make a decision. Some people come quicker, other people take a longer period of time. But on the average, it's up to 6 months for you to get a decision when you apply for your EU settlement scheme. Thank you, Mr. Buampong. Oh, hi, Isaka Seju. Hello, sir. Good evening. I'm Ghanaian living in Qatar. Can you help me with your WhatsApp number to talk to you on private matter? Yes, my number is on the screen. DJ puts it on the screen. It's 079 31411 042 079 Yes, you can call after the program or we can fix a proper time where we can talk. Sometimes because we are busy, you might call a couple of times before we get us to speak to us if it's on a private matter. So please call at the right time when we can talk. Thank you very, very much. Uh, Nana Akosia Flo Queen, hi. Please, when applying for a fee waiver and you've been asked whether a non-applying dependent is in receipt of any benefits, can you say yes even if the main applicant's mother has already declared receiving child benefits and universal credit that covers that dependent? Yes, as long as the uh, mother or the parent takes any benefits, sometimes the benefit is to cover the child, of course, the parent and the child. So if the child receives any other benefit which has not been declared already, yes, please please declare it non-applying dependent. So if the child gets any other benefit, maybe child benefit, child tax credit, or maybe there's a disability benefit, carers allowance or carers benefit that is paid for the child, if it has not already been declared, as long as they are asking, please declare to them. If you don't declare it, they can refuse your application because you have not disclosed all your information. The more benefits you take, the more arguable it is that you need support. Let me say it again. The more benefits you take, the more the benefits you take, the more your argument is that without the benefit, I can't live, I can't survive. That is why I'm taking the benefit. And that is why I don't have enough money to pay for the fee waiver. So please let me apply without having to apply for the fee for the to pay for the home office fee. So please declare everything, and I'm sure that will be taken into consideration for your decision. Thank you. Okay, the next one is thank you too, Samo. Thank you. If a master's graduate also complete PhD and given 3 years with their dependent, yes. Can the dependent apply for indefinite leave after staying in the UK for more than 5 years as a dependent? Yes, of course. So the it's going to be with the parent. Whatever the parent gets, the child gets. So if you have the 3 years as a graduate student after your master's or your PhD or so, remember that in itself does not lead to indefinite leave to remain. The graduate route, the 2.5 years, the 2 years and the 3 years does not in itself lead to indefinite leave to remain. So even if the child has been in the UK for 5 years, the child cannot get indefinite leave to remain by virtue of relying or being a dependent on the parent. But if the parent switches, maybe during the 3 years period, they switch to become a parent or something or a partner on a person who is settled or have indefinite leave to remain, then the child will switch with that parent to the 2.5, and after that another 2.5. Then they get their indefinite after that. Yes, 2.5, 2.5, 5 years, and then the indefinite leave to remain. But the child being in the UK just for 5 years by themselves as a dependent, they cannot get indefinite leave to remain. Another reason is this: children who were born in the UK, born here in the UK, have to be in the UK for 7 years before they get indefinite. A child that is born in the UK has to be in the UK for 7 years before they get indefinite. Therefore, they will not give a child that has come to live with a parent for 5 years, not as a skilled worker, or family member of a skilled worker, but rather as a dependent of a graduate or postgraduate leave holder for 5 years. They will not give the indefinite. The child has to move with the parent for the period that is required before they get their indefinite leave to remain. Thank you so much, Mr. O. Hi, lawyer. Hi. I applied for a settlement visa instead of a skilled worker dependent visa. Is there any chance for me here or any advice you can give me? Oh, yes, I have encountered a situation like this very recently. Very recently. Unfortunately, if you are not eligible for settlement and you apply for the settlement, the Home Office will write to you to say that you have to vary your application to the skilled worker route. If your sponsor has been in the UK for 5 years, then you can have to apply for your settlement based on the skilled worker route for indefinite leave to remain as a dependent of a skilled worker, not settlement. What the Home Office can do or will do is they ask you to vary your application. If you vary the application, they will refund, you have to pay for everything, and they'll refund the money you've already paid to you. Let's get that right. If you vary the application from settlement to indefinite leave as a skilled worker dependent, they will refund the money you have paid. Whatever amount you have paid, they will give it back to you. But you should have paid for the new application before they refund the old one to you. If you don't vary the application, they will make a decision based on the settlement application you've made, and it is more likely than not that it will be refused. Now, if your application is refused, you will not get your money back. And if you don't withdraw, and if you withdraw, they will not give you your money back. So if I happen to be in a situation like that, I will rather try to vary the application. If you vary the application, they'll refund your money to you. They'll refund the first one to you, and then once you can meet all the requirements on the skilled worker route for settlement, then you can then be considered for your indefinite leave to remain. So that is that. Vary the application if you can. If you meet the requirements, please vary the application. What should I do to collect my NHS payment when I change my visa to skilled worker visa and I still have a year on the postgraduate visa? Very interesting question. Very interesting. What you do is you can apply for a refund. I can't guarantee if the Home Office will give it to you. Apply for a refund, and also if you can give the reason why you should get a refund. So tell them, look, I was on the skilled worker visa and I paid this amount for this number of years. I have now changed my visa to the graduate route. Well, I was on the graduate route for it was supposed to be 2 years. I've done only 1 year, and then I've now moved to the skilled worker visa, which means that I haven't exhausted the period that I should have done on the skilled worker on the graduate route, and therefore I think I'm eligible for a refund of half of the money. They will consider it. They may refund it to you, but like I said, I can't guarantee if that will be the case. But yes, you don't lose anything. Go ahead, apply for it. You might just be lucky or fortunate for them to give you some money back. Hi, Ken. Care worker on skilled worker visa whose sponsorship has been revoked for apply for further leave to remain. It is possible to apply for a further leave to remain if your circumstances warrant it. I'll give you an example. A person recently whose sponsorship license, the employer's sponsorship license has been revoked, and obviously that affected the applicant's case. Now, in order for them not to be overstayers, they came to see us and we had to juggle and see if there was any right application to submit, FLR application. With that, yes, you are locked in and you remain here for a period lawfully whilst you try to navigate the other routes. Now, if you apply based on private life, you have to prove that you really qualify under private life. If you haven't been here for 20 years, there's no serious medical condition. Of course, you can make that application, but it's not guaranteed. It doesn't have a lot of merit. At least it keeps you in the system whilst you are exploring other options. So that is a possibility. Can I register for my own business and sponsor myself? I know there is something called self sponsorship. I know there is something called self sponsorship. If yes, can I do different job alongside with my own work? Can you help me with the process and what to do? Yes, you can always talk to us. I am very, very much aware of self sponsorship. If you are in the UK legally and you open a business, and you have the sponsorship license from the home office, yes, you can sponsor yourself. Self sponsorship license. You need a sponsorship certificate from license from the home office to sponsor yourself. So you can apply for the sponsorship license. We'll take you through that process. And once that is done, and you're given the sponsorship license, then you can sponsor yourself. So yes, it is doable. You can call us maybe on Monday on 0208 0165 384. 0208 0165 384. And we can have a meeting, discuss the requirements, and we take it from there. That is called self sponsorship. Thank you. Can I switch from being a dependent under the care visa to a fiancé or spouse visa with somebody else immediately? Can I switch from being a dependent under the care visa to a fiancé or a fiancé spouse visa with someone else immediately? Yes. If you have a fiancé or a fiancé who is a British citizen, or they have indefinite leave to remain, or they are an EU national, and you can prove by virtue of the definition of GEN 1.2 that the relationship is subsisting, genuine, and continuing, and you meet the definition of a partner because of the relationship, yes, you can switch. However, if you are here as a dependent, you would have to be free from the other person before you can move on to another person. You cannot have two partners at the same time. So if the relationship with the first person breaks down and there is a divorce certificate to show that you are divorced, nothing stops you from moving on to your partner if this is a genuine relationship. You are then able to switch to your partner once you can prove that you meet the suitability and the eligibility requirements. You can do that and it should be considered. My concern sometimes is that some people break their relationship today, then they want to get married tomorrow. Well, legally, there is nothing wrong with it. But remember, the Home Office are human beings, case workers are human beings, and they begin to ask questions. You married, you came here 8 months, 9 months ago, you divorced yesterday, you married another person today, you're applying tomorrow. Sometimes some of these questions play on their mind and they begin to think that, or they begin to wonder if it's a genuine relationship. They may therefore invite you for an interview to establish that it is a genuine relationship. And that should be fine. Once you can establish it, nothing stops you from going ahead with your application. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, hi. I lost my BRP on the application. They asked about my sponsor's bank details and their signature. Let me put it this way. It says, I, let me say it again. Hello, I lost my BRP on the application. They asked about my sponsor's bank details and their signature. Is it necessary since it's just a replacement, not a new application? Well, if you lose your BRP, biometric residence permit, first of all, I believe you've reported it to the police, or you've reported it to wherever you lost it, Transport for London, etc., etc., and they would have given you some reference number or some letter. That is one. Two, if it's been reported, and then you have to cancel it with the Home Office, and then you can apply for a new one. Yes, whatever information they are asking for, if they want to be sure that your partner signs, then you have to provide that. It's a replacement anyway, but it also depends on what questions they ask. They are asking sponsors' bank details and their signature. Is it necessary? Well, I haven't seen a sponsor's bank details on a replacement form before. Maybe they have revised it. I'm not too sure, to be honest. And the signature of your sponsor, I haven't seen that one as well. Um, but if that is what the Home Office is asking, if you are still together with your partner or your sponsor, of course, just provide those documents and then they'll make a decision. If you are no longer with your partner, then make it clear to them that you are not with your partner anymore. But if you got it based on your partner and you are no longer with your partner, then that can affect them issuing you your BRP. So please be mindful and consider it very carefully before you proceed. My auntie is a citizen and I am on skilled worker visa. She said she wants to adopt me. Is it possible for her to adopt me so I can be under her visa? Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to me it will be possible because you are on a skilled worker visa, which means you are more than 18 years old. If you're on a skilled worker visa, you are more than 18 years old of age. And you can only adopt a person who is below 18 years. You can only adopt a child. 18 years, you are no longer a child. And therefore, even if your auntie is a British citizen and she is here, because you are more than 18 years, she cannot adopt you, and therefore it is not possible in this case. Hi, it is it compulsory or must I inform my COS sponsor I am doing extra 20 hours elsewhere? I think the extra 20 hours elsewhere is not mandatory to inform the your main sponsor. As long as you are working with your main sponsor, you're doing the hours you are given, the extra 20 hours, that I haven't read anywhere that you have to inform the sponsor, but I will check. Maybe if I find anything different, then that is I'll let you know. If I don't come with anything different, then it means you are not. It's not mandatory to inform the main sponsor, provided you are doing your hours with the sponsor. That is it. When applying for a fee waiver, and you've been asked whether a non-applying dependent is in receipt of any benefits. I think I've answered this one already. Receiving child benefit and investor credit. Yes, I've gone through this. I've already responded to this question. It says, "Hi lawyer, if a master's graduate also complete PhD and give it 3 years with their dependents, if a master's graduate also completes PhD, can the dependent apply for?" I've tackled this one too as well. This is where I said the child being here for 5 years in itself is not enough to warrant an indefinite leave to remain. But if the parents switch to another route, then of course the child can switch with that parent for two and a half, matter of 5 years indefinite leave to remain. I mean, my wife, who has been a dependent on student visa for more than 5 years, applied for indefinite leave to remain. Your wife has been a dependent on a student visa for 5 years. A student visa does not lead to indefinite leave straight away. Student visa on its own does not lead to indefinite leave. She has to meet the 10 years lawful residence route to get indefinite leave. 5 years on a student visa does not lead to settlement. 5 years on a worker visa, skilled worker visa, health and care, tier 2, IT, those areas, yes. 5 years on a skilled worker visa can lead to indefinite. 5 years on as a dependent of a student does not lead to indefinite. It can give you 2 years or 3 years postgraduate, but not indefinite leave to remain. Richard Buensi, hi. I'm using my stepdaughter to regularize my stay, but I am not married to the mother of the girl. Do I need to provide marriage certificate before I can do the application? Now, if you look at the definition of GEN 1.2, which I had mentioned earlier, it says a partner includes a person's fiancé or fiance or proposed civil partner. A partner includes a fiancé, a fiance, civil partner, or proposed civil partner, marriage, etc. So, if you can prove that this is a genuine relationship and she is your fiancé, then of course that meets the definition of a partner. You don't have to be necessarily married to her or have lived with her for 2 years, which used to be the definition. But once you can prove that you're a fiancé or she's your fiancé and you are her fiancé, and there is a relationship ongoing, you are able to apply on that route by virtue of the definition of a partner under GEN 1.2 of the immigration rules. Now, if we say who is a fiancé or who is a fiance, you go look for the dictionary meaning of that. It says a person to whom you are engaged with the intention of getting married to. So as long as you can prove that there is an engagement and you have the intention of getting married, you meet the definition of a partner by virtue of GEN 1.2. Thank you. DJ, thank you. My wife has been on the care visa for more than 5 years. Can I apply for indefinite leave to remain? If she has been on the care visa for 5 years and she's applying for indefinite, please apply with her. Joint application, both of you will get your indefinite leave to remain. Thank you.
All right, Lawyer Wisdom Akao. Thank you so much for today. I think our time is almost up. We have like 4 minutes more to say bye bye. But I think you have answered all the questions they dropped today. Just that some people, they repeat it. They will
Yes.
type the questions, we will put it on the screen, and they will come and repeat it again. But so far, I think you've answered all the questions that
Yeah.
has been dropped at the comment section. So, lawyer, I'll thank you so much. You can give location to your office. We Wiseman Solicitors, location, contact. The contact numbers are always on our screens. You can contact Wiseman Solicitors, but your office location.
Thank
Uh,
you. DJ, God willing, next week, if God gives us life, that is
mm,
very key. If God gives us life, Ke Mawu Hani Wangehio, they are
mm,
next week. Oh, I want to look at fee waiver. A lot of fee waiver applications are being refused. Some people cannot pay the application fee. Times are hard, very hard. Times
mm,
are really, really, really hard. The cost of things has gone up, especially the women, the ladies. Times are very hard. They cannot pay the application fee. So if you have to make an application for yourself and your child, you are paying over £7,000. Home office fee alone is 1,048. IHS is £2,587 and 50p. The two of you, one person is £3,635 50p. So if it's you and another child, that is 3,635.50 times 2. If you are 3 times 3, if you are 4 times 4. DJ, money is not there for parents or for mothers to be making that application. Meanwhile, if you don't apply, your leave will expire. You can't work, you can't rent, you can't travel. What do? You can go for fee waiver. I will take my time and take you through how to go through the fee waiver application successfully so that if you can't pay for yourself, your children, the last time I did it for somebody, the Home Office said they shouldn't pay over £10,000 because the money they can't pay £10,000. This woman had three children. Where's she going to get the £10,000 for? 2.5 years. How much does she earn for 2.5 years to go and pay £10,000 in home office fee and IHS? So we did the IHS, we did the fee waiver, and she was granted the fee waiver. They didn't have to pay anything. God willing, I'll take you through next week, step by step by step, the documents you need, the amounts you have to enter, the correct amounts you have to enter, and you have to argue if somebody supports you, the documents you need, so that you can be given the fee waiver so you don't have to pay 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 pounds, which is not there. It is not there. So that is for next week, God willing, unless something else comes up.
Before you sign out, there is one guy, Lord. He said his question has not been answered. Let me just go through it again. I think you've answered. Okay, it's two. Lawyer, please, can you take this one?
Okay. Please, what should I do to get my refund of my NHS fee after I switched from a non-care visa to a care visa? Well, I think I've answered this one in another way. You can, if you can, you have to go online, go to Home Office site and go to refund, IHS refund. Go there and enter IHS refund. Apply for IHS refund. Now it will take you through different stages, and you have to give a reason why you are asking for the refund. Maybe you were given 2 years, you didn't do the 2 years, you did only one year, and you have now switched to another route, and therefore you think you should be given the refund. They should consider it. Like I said, there is no guarantee, but they may consider it and decide to issue you the refund. Nicholas Kofi Ban, can someone claim asylum after being in the UK for 2 years? It is possible. It is possible to claim asylum, but it only makes your case very weak. It makes your case very, very weak because if you are claiming asylum, as soon as you enter the UK, you have to apply for asylum because you were running away from something. You were running away from something. That is why, as soon as you entered, you should apply for asylum. But if you've been here for 2 years, it becomes very difficult to argue your case, to prove that you are really running away from something. Can someone apply? Yes. Will it succeed? Not likely, because you've been in the UK for 2 years and you haven't applied until after 2 years. It makes your case very, very, very wobbly, very weak. Please, if you've applied for a fee waiver and it has not yet been granted for you to make your home office application and your visa expires, does does it affect your benefits that you are on? It should not affect the benefits that you are on. Why? Because once you applied before the leave expired at the home office, let me say it again. Once you submitted the fee waiver application before your leave expired at the home office, you are protected by Section 3C of the Immigration Act 1971. Your leave has not expired. It keeps going on and on and on until the home office makes a decision. Therefore, if the benefit department or people who give the benefit are asking you questions, let them understand that you put in the application before your leave expired, and therefore You are supposed to carry on receiving the benefit until a decision is made. So it should not affect your application or your entitlement to benefit. Thank you. So,
All right.
why smart
Go on.
solicitors?
Yeah.
Wise Small Solicitors, we are at number 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 The Print House, Dalston Junction, London E8 3DL. Wise Smart Solicitors, 18 to 22 Ashwin Street, 8 to 9 The Print House. Dawson Junction, London, E8 3DL. Telephone numbers 0208 0165 384. 0208 0165 384. Mobile number is 079 31 411042. 079 31 411042. We are behind the McDonald's at Dalston Junction near the Dalston Market. Near the Dalston Market, not in the market, near the market, behind the McDonald's. That is where we are. If you ask DJ Nyame, he will tell you we are in the market. We are not in the market. we are, we are close to we are no, no, no,
Lawyer.
DJ will not say that. DJ will say we are behind the McDonald's close to the DJ. So
If you go there, you get free this thing. What do you call it? How do you call it? Is it your beg? How is it beggar or what?
Beggar, yeah, Big Mac, Big
yeah,
Mac.
yeah. When you go there, go to their office and just order beggar. Tell them, oh, lawyer, I'm here. I'm here for beggar.
DJ, you know what happened the other day?
You know.
Somebody came and she came. She had come from very far with a child, with a daughter. And when I saw them, I thought, look, let me look after this lady. So I said, do you want McDonald's? She said, yes, I want McDonald's. So I asked one of my secretaries to go and buy the McDonald's for her. Now there was another client who was sitting here. So when she kept that client came to see me, say, "Look, I didn't know. I didn't know."
Oh, Mama McDonald's. Also, baby.
And I said, no, 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 no. She's with a child. She's traveled for. But look, if you even if you think about people, it works for you. It's not all about the money. It's about the human being looking after people. So genuinely, it would be a friend from Ghana. If somebody had called me from Ghana that somebody was sick or ill, I would send them money. What if somebody is hungry here? Why not? £2, £3, £5, please. So if you come and you need McDonald's, care of DJ Nyami, say twa, and then we will give you.
That's the passcode. So when you get there, say twa.
Thank you, DJ.
So, Lawyer Wisdom Makao, Wise Man Solicitor, thank you so much for today. Enjoy your weekend. Hope to see you, God willing, next week, Friday. We are on 5:30 p.m. GMT to 7. So make sure when you come, prepare your questions. Listen to him well. It will help you. So, Lawyer, thank you so much. I'll see you again next week.
Have a blessed day.
So that's their number on the screen. You just mentioned it, but that's their number on the screen. You can just WhatsApp them or call them, book an appointment, and then go and meet them. Lawyer, you go and meet them. When you go there, you say tua. Thank you guys for joining us today live on SBTV International YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our English channel. And then also you follow us on our Facebook page as well, SBTV Africa, and our YouTube channel too. We have 2 YouTube accounts, SBTV International, SBTV Africa. SBTV Africa is mainly for our local dialects and all that. So make sure you follow us on both channels. Subscribe so that you get notification when we come on live. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining us today. Let me give shout outs to those who join us today. So Nanekia, Flo Queen, thank you so much. Nicholas Kofi Ba, is it Ba? Thank you so much. Lord, thank you so much. Akwesi, thank you so much. Richard Buesi, my PC is far. Miss Richard, is it Buensi? Thank you so much. Sam Q, thank you so much for joining us today. Ose Kofi Emmanuel, thank you so much. Names. Echo Bilson, thank you so much for joining us today. Bunsu Dominic, thank you so much. Isaka Seidu, thank you so much. George Buampong, Kojo Apia, thank you so much. Say good evening, DJ Jam. Good evening to Michael. Is it Nkwa Buedu? Michael Nkwa Buedu. Thank you so much, guys, for watching SBTV Africa. We are dropping a new video today. We have like 4 videos already. We have like 3 dropping. This one, this last one will be 4 videos. So join us on SBTV Africa, our YouTube channel. Join us. Make sure you subscribe. You share your thoughts. Share to your friends. If you want to come on my show, my numbers are always on our YouTube channel. You can just WhatsApp me or send me a voice note, or go to our Facebook page. You can see my numbers there. Just send me a voice note or WhatsApp message. Don't bother calling, because or else you will call tire. I beg. You can also visit our website www.sbtvafrica.com. Thank you, guys. Big shout out to you all. See you. So enjoy my interview with a beautiful lady. She's in the US Army. So we are dropping it soon. So enjoy. Thank you, guys. Big ups. 2
My name is Fernanda Samoa, Director and CEO of Second Generation IT Group. Guess what? We are currently in Ghana, and we're going to offer the best courses that will allow you to work anywhere in the world. The courses that we're going to offer, we're talking about cloud computing. We're talking about introduction to computers, networking, network security, cyber security.
We have a conducive learning environment, and our programs are interactive, where the students get to ask questions and they get answers that's going to help them, and we equip them with the right knowledge.
Classes are offered Monday through Friday. It depends on which day you want to come. We have morning shift, we have afternoon schedule, we have evening schedule, and also on the weekends. To register, go to www.secondgenit.com and register.